Alright, so first thing you're going to do, put it on halfway. Put your valve on about halfway. Pull these out of the box. You can pull these out of the box. They're nice and bubble wrapped. You're going to get 2 of them. Now the way this has to be is the block needs to be in the back. Okay, hold these like this. It's on here like this for now. It's easier, but I want to show you how you do it when it's all connected. So just like this, put this one in here. Okay, and then you feed it back behind your valve. Put it onto here. Okay, now when it's there, and then you're gonna tighten this up. You can kind of stay high like that. So what you want is tighten this up until they're level. Like right now they're pointed in. You can see all this. Okay, back up a little bit right here. What you don't want them like this. You want them level. So keep tightening this up a couple clicks at a time. And squeeze it. So you see they're still pointed in. And these are 120-pound zip ties, so they're not going anywhere. So squeeze it a little bit, it's still in. Okay, about like that, a little bit. I'm squeezing it fairly tight. I can maybe go one more click. Okay, about like that. Now I have one of these ready, and this is just to hold it. This is the smaller one. Okay, and once it's nice and tight, I can go a little bit more. Okay, once it's nice and tight and it's straight, and you put this on here just to hold it. Okay, that'll hold it where it's at. You can see there's not much torque going this direction. All the torque is this direction, so it doesn't need to be too super tight. Okay, now we'll do it again. Same thing, hold it like it's going to be in there. This goes in the back. Goes around, fish it through. Okay. Now if you can reach and do this ahead of time and reach this around, some of them are real close and you won't be able to do that. That's why I'm doing it this way to show you. But if you can do this around or it's apart, that's even better because now you can get it more accurate. But I made it so where you could do this if you have to. Okay. So when it goes on this part of the valve, okay, now I'm squeezing it pretty good and it's pretty, okay, I'll do this one again, I guess you can see it, and you want them down a little ways because you still got to put the nuts on there. So it's all good there. Okay, and this one just holds it so you can put this on. Okay, there we go, and keep recording.
A fly flew on my shoulder, and I might have moved the camera just for like a second.
Fine. So now you can get in here and cut these so they look nicer. Okay. Now you're going to put these are the leveling nuts. Okay, put them anywhere for now. Now we'll come in here. So this is all nice bubble wrapped. Pull the unit out. Now this is going to come like this, wrapped around the back of here. Okay, the rubber strap is going to come wrapped around there. That's just for shipping. So once you get it, you pull this out, and you push that little rocker, push the little tab, and the remote comes right out. Okay. Normally I keep it like this because I'm right-handed, so I'll put it on my gun and hold it on my gun like that. Reach around, grab the rubber strap through the handle or wherever it fits nice, and snap it onto there, and then it stays on. Okay. So normally that's how you do it. Push it a little bit, it snaps in, comes right out. One-handed operation, so you can get to it easy, get in and out. Okay. Now we'll plug this in. So it's got an inline fuse already. This will go on 24-volt systems or 12-volt system, no problem. You will need to put your own either eyelet or however you attach to your battery, but just positive, negative to your battery. It's got 10 foot of cable, and then here's your on switch. Now it'll turn on. Okay, I'm going to show in the box. So then this comes out of here. There's your servo. So this will say C for chem. I'm going to have these all pretty much for your valves, whatever your valves are. I'll have them all set up for you. But then it'll come with extra arms, adapter arms, that you just take a screw, pull the screw out, shove the new one in, if it's a bigger or wider for different valves. So now what we want to do is, this will be set, these will be set to halfway, okay? Which is, in here, the number is going to be 90, but this will be set halfway when you get it from the factory, or from me, the factory. And what you want to do is plug it in first. Before you put it on the valve, you want to plug it in, okay, because it's going to go to 90. So if you can see the whole thing here. But I'll just press up. So we have up button, down button for chem, okay, and there's a little thing here that shows you, and then soap and rinse. So if we go up, it's going to go to mode 1. Mode 2. Now you can see this is barely moving. That's got a little bit of backlash control in it that you can change later. But so every one of these is set at 90. So it's all in the same spot. But you want to make sure this is at 90 because otherwise it'll break these, it'll break that if it's twisted around. So plug it in before you put it on the valve. Make sure now this is at 90, we're good. It's halfway. Now we're good. Okay, so we can unplug this. And now that it's at 90, or halfway, now we can put this on here. It takes a little finagling. And if you have to move it a little bit, that's fine. It just needs to be about in the middle. What you don't want is that if it's at the end, or all the way closed or all the way open, and then it turns on and tries to twist it around, it's a strong servo, so it'll break these, it'll break that, it might break your valves. So you don't want that. You want to make sure that it's at 90 before you do that. And I'll show you what 90 is in a second here. So now if you look right here, you have a little gap. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a gap between here and the handle. You want that. You don't want this shoved all the way against here. You just need it to be far enough on the valve right here that it's going to turn. So that's plenty good right there. It's tight. And again, you don't want to tighten it down all the way in here. It's going to bend everything and it starts to get caught. So it doesn't need to be secured on there. So now we'll back these up to wherever is level. Okay, and you'll kind of look at it, make sure that everything is about where it needs to be. This should be in the center. There is room for play, so you can, it doesn't have to be exactly in the center or whatever. There's room for play in there. So we'll back these up as long as it looks pretty close. Okay. So back these up, and the only thing you're going to need for this is 2 1/2-inch wrenches, or a 13 mil and a 1/2 inch, same thing. So now we'll put our tightening nuts on here. We'll hold this back one, tighten the front one. And you could put lock washers in here if you want. I haven't, and I've never had any issues. They're locking together, so you don't really need it. Also, it kind of jams a little bit into the slot, which helps hold it. I haven't had any issues. I've been running it for months in my van and haven't had any issues. If you want to do that, you can. It just makes it a little bit funny when you're trying to tighten it, but either way, these are lock nuts. And I lock them down pretty good. Okay, that's it. It's at 90. We already plugged it in, so it's at 90 before you put this on. So that's where we're good. Now, so it'll come with 3 of these. So that'll be 3 foot between here and the box. So and then once you're done, you can mount it. And this thing can be mounted this way, with the wires coming out the top, or come out the bottom. Doesn't matter. It's the same either way. So that way you can do routing if you want to route this and attach it to your pipes. So that way it's a nice clean install. But now we're going to plug this in. Go here. And red is chem. Okay, and now what we're going to do here is turn it off and go into calibration mode. So you're going to hold the soap button. This is the soap button. Hold the soap button and turn it on. And you'll see it says calibration mode. Now it's going to move. Now this says chem mode. I don't know if you can read in there, but chem mode 0. Okay, and position 90. So everything's set at 90. That's halfway. And all we're going to do is say, okay, where do I want chem mode 0? That'll be all the way closed. Mode 0 is all the way closed. So we're going to push the buttons and see which way it moves. So now you can look at the servo. And as you push the button, it's going to go to wherever you want. So you'll set it all the way to closed. So now you can see it's all the way on closed. So you don't want to go too much more because it will break stuff. So there's one, that's about as far as you want to go. You don't want to go any farther than that. Then you come over here. So now I've got it set for position 0, what I want. So position 120, right? That's where the closed is. And I'll press the soap button again. That saves it. Or it moves to the next one. So now it says chem mode 1. So whatever you want for mode 1, and it goes back to 90. So now we're going to adjust it again. And you can see the servo. And we're just going to put this at whatever. This dial is 1 to 10, so it's not going to be, but wherever you want mode 1 to be, right? So we'll put it on number 2, which is about 1% on here. And then again, go to soap button, and it'll go to the next one. Now it's chem mode 2. And again, you just set that again. So we'll just press there. We'll go here. You can watch the servo too. So there's mode 3. I'm going to set mode 3 there. I'm going to set mode 4. 2. There. Set mode 5. To there. Set mode 6. And you can see it has a little backlash in there. That's programmed in there to relieve a little bit of the strain. You can take that out all the way and it doesn't matter. So you can, but I'll show you how to do that later. So mode 6 is going to be all the way open. So that's all the way open, and then we'll press save. Okay, you can come back over here. So then we'll do it again, press soap. Now it's going to go to soap 1. You do the same thing for your soaps, right? And when you want to go through it, so you could change them. So when you set up your soap, same thing. You can do this at any time, doesn't matter. And then, but you have to go all the way through. Now we're on soap 2, mode 1, mode 0, mode 1, mode 2, mode 3. Now it says complete, all positions set. And then it defaults back to rinse. So this will always stay, whenever you turn it on and off, it will go back to rinse or mode 0, because that's where you're going to end, that's where you're going to begin. So that's where we're at now. So now if you want, now you can see with the buttons, if I want to go to mode 1, just press up and it moves the servo to mode 1. Mode 2, mode 3, so here's mode 3. I set mode 2 and mode 1 too close together. See? So there's mode 1 and there's mode 2. So if I want to change that, I do the same thing. You just go in here, turn it off, hold soap button, turn it back on. It says calibration. Mode 0 is good. I don't want to mess with that. Mode 1 is good. I don't want to mess with that. So press soap again. Now I'm on mode 2. Now I can adjust mode 2 and tweak it a little bit. Okay, and then I'll save that there, and I'll just press soap all the way through. So mode 3, mode 4, mode 5, mode 6, and then soaps. Okay, we'll go through all these. You have to go all the way through for it to save. Complete, all positions saved. Now it goes to rinse. So now you'll see mode 1 there and mode 2 is there. So now there's a little bit of a difference between mode 1 and mode 2. Okay, so that's how you set this up. Now it's ready to go. Now you can take these other small, once you've got it all set up to where you like, now you can take these other small zip ties, put them through here and through this hole here, and that will complete your cover. Okay, and sometimes I'll bend these a little bit so it, now it'll go in and go right through the hole. Okay, and it's got a spot for your wire either on top or on bottom. Now I've sanded these so they're not sharp, so it shouldn't really cut through here, but if you want to put a little hot glue or ATV silicone, RTV silicone, that's probably a good idea. But then you can secure these to your pipes however you want to route them to the box. Okay, there's that. Now the remote. So anytime the remote always stays in here, okay, unless it's on your gun, because the only way to turn this off is in this base. So this, it's all completely sealed, so that way it's waterproof. The whole thing is completely waterproof, so you can get it with bleach, water, whatever, it doesn't matter, it's not going to affect it. But there's no on-off button, so the only way to turn it off is to put it in the charger. Okay, so it always lives in here. You don't want the battery to go all the way dead, because it's not good for the battery and it's going to take a while to charge. So you've got battery percentage right there, 99%. Okay, it doesn't go to 100 because it wouldn't fit, but 99%. And then same thing, you've got up and down. So if you want to go mode 3, mode 4, and it takes a minute for it to go back. By the time you push the button, it's not instant, because it has to communicate with the base here, and tell it to move, and it has a sync word in there, so there's a magic password, right, that this won't have interference with anything else. So it says, hey, here's my password, and the base says, okay, that's a good password, what do you want me to do? And then it does it, and then it sends it back saying, hey, now this is the mode we're on. So it takes a minute because it has to do two-way communication back and forth. Whatever this says is what it's on. So like right now it's on 4. Let's say we lose power. Okay, now this is off, there's no power. Well, it's still on 4, but if I push a button, now it just stays on unknown mode, right? Nothing happens because it's not telling this what mode it's in. So if this ever happens, you know you got disconnected or you lost power or whatever, but that way it ensures that you're always in the mode that it's on here. Now if you turn it on, it automatically goes to rinse, but it doesn't update this right away. So either if you push a button here or if you turn it off and back on, then it will update this. But if it's lost connection and then you turn it back on, we'll need to push a button so that it resets and goes, okay, I'm still here, because it lost communication. So then you push a button, now you're good to go. Now here's the soaps. So we'll just go to mode 3. And here's the soap. So this little dot is going to show you which is the active soap. If you hold it for 1 second, now the dot switches over there. Now you're going to control soap 2 if you have a second soap. Hold it again. Now it's controlling soap 1. So you press soap. Again, it takes a second, but now we got 1 dash in there. So now soap 1 is on mode 1. None is mode 0, closed. Now it's whatever you set mode 1 at. Press soap again. And now it's on mode 2. One more. Mode 3. So there's mode 3, soap 1, mode 3, and 3 on the chem. Okay. Now here's your rinse button. So let's say you want to rinse. Press 1, press rinse, and it closes the chem to 0 and your soap to 0. So you can set 0 whatever you want. It can be closed or open. If you want to have one that is opened when you rinse, whatever, you can set these whatever you want. But now it does everything to mode 0, okay? And then you rinse, it's just water, and then you press rinse again, and it brings your mode back, mode 3, and your soap back. So it remembers where it was and puts it back. And then of course to get 0 soap, and you go there. And that's it. Like I said, it's totally waterproof, goes right to your gun, and that's about all I need to show you. Pretty simple, easy installation. As you've seen, it's taken, I don't know, 5 minutes. But, and again, I have, keep an eye on these, but these have all been okay. All of these have been okay. I am going to start putting Loctite in there, in the packages. I'm waiting for it to arrive, so if you have a little bit of Loctite, it's probably a good idea. But I will start including a little tube of Loctite in these. And yeah, these valves are really hard to turn compared to most other valves. And you can see there's no movement. It just does everything that it's supposed to do. So, also, this has power for 2.5 seconds. So, it'll move the servo. When you change buttons, it'll move the servo, have power for 2.5 seconds, and then stop having power. So, if you ever had any, or need to, you can move this by hand. Okay? Even if I open it all the way here, and then go to mode 1, you can keep it on there. Then I go to mode 1, it'll take it right to mode 1. Okay? And like right now, it's locked. And now it's open. 2.5 seconds.